Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings podcast. Our ongoing series, The Forgotten Seconds, explores the lives and legacies of vice presidents who never made it to the presidency. These individuals played crucial roles in shaping American history, yet their contributions are often overshadowed by those who held the highest office. Today, we continue with Hubert Humphrey, a man whose influence on civil rights, social policy, and American politics remains significant despite his near miss at the presidency. Hubert Horatio Humphrey Jr., the 38th Vice President of the United States, left an indelible mark on American politics. He was a champion of civil rights, a key figure in the Democratic Party, and a man whose career was shaped by both triumph and controversy. His life, however, did not begin in the corridors of power, but in the small town of Wallace, South Dakota, where his family had deep roots in the American Midwest. Humphrey's lineage traces back to English and Scandinavian ancestry. His paternal grandfather, Herman Humphrey, was of English descent and moved to South Dakota during the late 19th century, part of the broader westward expansion that brought many settlers to the Great Plains. His grandmother, Addie Regester, also hailed from an English background with family connections to early American settlers. His father, Hubert Horatio Humphrey Sr., was a pharmacist and community leader known for his strong democratic beliefs in a predominantly Republican region. Born in 1882, Humphrey Sr. operated a small-town drugstore that became a hub of political discussions and community engagement. In this setting, young Hubert was first exposed to the power of public service and debate. On his mother's side, Humphrey's Scandinavian roots were evident. His maternal grandparents, Lars and Maria Sand, were Norwegian immigrants who settled in the Midwest, drawn by the promise of farmland and opportunity. His mother, Christine Sanis Humphrey, was a strong-willed woman who instilled in him the values of hard work and perseverance. Hubert Humphrey was born on May 27, 1911, in Wallace, South Dakota, a small farming community. Growing up in a modest home, his childhood was shaped by economic hardship, particularly during the Great Depression. The family pharmacy provided some stability, but there were times when financial struggles threatened their way of life. After graduating from Doland High School in 1929, Humphrey pursued a pharmacy degree to help run the family business. However, his passion for politics and public speaking soon overshadowed his early career in pharmacy. In 1931, he enrolled at the University of Minnesota, where he studied political science and economics, setting the stage for his future in government. During his college years, Humphrey was deeply influenced by the progressive politics of figures like Franklin D. Roosevelt. He became an advocate for labor rights, civil rights, and social justice, causes that would define his political career. He earned his master's degree in political science from Louisiana State University in 1940, an experience that exposed him to the complexities of race relations in the South. Humphrey's first major political breakthrough came in 1945 when he was elected mayor of Minneapolis. As a young and energetic leader, he tackled corruption and took a bold stance against racial discrimination. His most defining moment came in 1948 when, as a delegate to the Democratic National Convention, he pushed for a strong civil rights plank in the party platform. His passionate speech, urging Democrats to get out of the shadow of states' rights and walk forthrightly into the bright sunshine of human rights, led to a dramatic split within the party. Southern segregationist delegates walked out and formed the Dixiecrat Party, but Humphrey's position on civil rights solidified his reputation as a national leader. In 1949, he was elected to the U.S. Senate from Minnesota. Over the next 15 years, he became one of the most influential senators of his time. He was instrumental in crafting and passing the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which dismantled segregation and secured voting rights for African Americans. His work on this landmark legislation earned him admiration from civil rights activists and made him a conservative opposition target. 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson selected Humphrey as his running mate, and the ticket won in a landslide. As vice president from 1965 to 1969, Johnson often sidelined Humphrey, who maintained tight control over policy decisions. Nevertheless, he remained a loyal advocate for the administration's Great Society programs, which sought to address poverty, health care, and education. However, the escalating Vietnam War overshadowed his tenure as vice president. While privately conflicted about the war, Humphrey publicly supported Johnson's policies, which led to growing resentment from the Democratic Party's liberal wing. By 1968, the war had become a defining issue, sparking nationwide protests and riots, particularly during the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. In 1968, Humphrey secured the Democratic nomination for president after Johnson chose not to seek re-election. His campaign faced significant hurdles, including the deep divisions within the Democratic Party. The assassination of Robert F. Kennedy, along with the rise of the anti-war movement, created a volatile political climate. During the general election, Humphrey struggled to distance himself from Johnson's unpopular Vietnam policies. However, in the campaign's final weeks, he shifted his stance, advocating for a gradual de-escalation of the war. His late surge in the polls nearly secured victory, but he ultimately lost to Richard Nixon by a narrow margin. Despite his defeat, Humphrey remained an influential figure in American politics. He returned to the Senate in 1971, where he continued to champion civil rights, health care reform, and education initiatives. In his later years, he was widely respected as a statesman and elder statesman of the Democratic Party. In 1976, Humphrey was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Even as his health declined, he remained active in public service, receiving widespread tributes from political allies and opponents alike. He passed away on January 13, 1978, at the age of 66. Hubert Humphrey's legacy is one of progressive ideals, political resilience, and unwavering commitment to civil rights. Though his association with the Vietnam War tarnished his reputation then, his contributions to social justice and equality have since been recognized as foundational to modern American liberalism. From a small-town pharmacist's son to the highest levels of American government, Humphrey's life was a testament to the power of perseverance and principle. His impact on civil rights, education, and healthcare policies continues to be felt, making him one of the most significant vice presidents who never became president. Thank you for tuning into the Ancestral Findings podcast. Be sure to visit ancestralfindings.com to grab your free genealogy ebook. Ask for a complimentary genealogy lookup, and sign up for our weekly historical postcard giveaway. A special thanks to our Patreon supporters. Your contributions help to anchor our family tree firmly in the ground, allow our lineage to fly high, and keep our journey through history on the right path. Wishing you a fantastic day and happy searching.